Hello, Leonardo Cornejo here with another video, and today we're going to be playing Ribi because I don't have the patience to go back to a hat in time for now. So we're going to play this, and well, you will see. You will see. It's an extremely cute game. It's cute and funny even. So you will see. You will see. I'm really liking it, actually. It's probably one of the games I have enjoyed the most lately, and well, I'm already in the second half of it, almost finishing. And well, I will focus on exploration. I won't be trying to advance the plot much. Well, a bit, but it won't be the primary focus. And I don't feel like completing that much, to be honest. I want to enjoy this game at my own pace and not, how do I say, ruin the fun. We'll go here. Turns out I will need to advance the plot because I don't know where else to go. But I will try to not finish it. I don't want to finish it yet. I want to really enjoy it, and I want to complete all the inventory before finishing it. Right, so here. I like this game because it's difficult, but it's rewarding. I like challenging games when they are rewarding, when the challenge doesn't become tedious. So one of the problem I have with the whole thing about making games difficult is that sometimes developers and players focus on the difficulty without caring about the fun, and the result is a boring game. It's an objectively boring game, and I don't like boring things. I don't like boring games. I don't like to get bored by something that I used to unwind, to refocus when I'm having a bad day, which is the case. This year has been really bad, to be honest. It has been quite tough, and it's getting worse, actually. Not personally, but I'm having some issues. Basically, my body is fine, as far as I know, but my mind is not right now because I'm having trouble in my environment, and I don't want to annoy you with the details, so I won't explain further. But the thing is, I might have to slow production to deal with the problems I'm facing right now. I might need to go back to the monthly content if things keep getting worse, and I'm in a bad mood, so I need a game that helps me to unwind, because there is just too much bad stuff right now. Right, let's see. So time to go down there. Alright, so we go here. As I was saying, when I'm playing something, especially when I'm having a bad day, I don't feel like having to deal with something that annoys me, that bores me. And that's the problem with the whole difficult game obsession nowadays. There are games that are not really fun, just tedious, and they are difficult for the sake of being difficult. And they are often indie games or games that are chasing the trend. For example, this game titled I Wanna Be the Guy, which is infamous for being frustrating. I have seen it so many times mentioned that I don't find it interesting. I'm not saying I hate it because I haven't played it, and I have no real interest in playing it. I won't say I think it's bad. No, I just feel no interest in it. Because I look at how frustrating it can get, at how angry people get playing it. I look at the memes, I look at the conversation about it, and I think this doesn't seem fun to me. This looks boring. That's something I don't like in games. I don't like games that are boring, that get tedious. That's a common trait, as I said, of difficult games and of open world games. Pretty much everything Bethesda makes. And the exceptions are counted, and they are most of the time games made by someone else and published by Bethesda. They get tedious over time. For example, I tried to enjoy the Elder Scrolls, I think it's the 4th, which is I think Oblivion. I found the open world annoying and tedious. And I played Fallout 3 and 4. No, 3 and New Vegas. 4 I haven't played it. It's on my list, but I haven't played it. I found them tedious. The side quests, the open world, I found it tedious. I know people love them. I know they are popular games. But I found them tedious. I got bored eventually. I didn't like the open world. And that's the thing. Most of the time, one of the problems here is the way the wall jumps are configured. Oh, god damn it. It's a bit weird. So, yeah. No. There it is. So, sometimes it gets a bit difficult with the keyboard. No. No. See, that's a problem. I'm trying my best. Be patient. Alright. Try it again. No. Alright. There. Instead of trying the wall jump, I said, well, let's go for the normal double jump. The thing is, as I was saying, I found them tedious. They were not difficult, but just boring. And of course, eventually I got so bored. That's true, I got bored. I got so bored I began to use the console to make it more entertaining. Because without cheats, without making yourself having top stealth all the time, without making yourself having the ultimate hacker abilities, it's boring. It's boring because you can do nothing and you must go through a whole lot of nothing, and that's boring. And people like that. I don't know why. I don't understand why. I think most people like those Bethesda games because they play them modded, or because they play them with cheats, as I did. And that if you play the game as is, as the developers intended, you're gonna enjoy it. Well, the console was there as intended. It's not really a cheat. I mean, all you need to do is being smart. I will even say it's a skill measure. If you are smart enough to use the console, you deserve to use the console. If you are not smart enough to use it, I feel sorry for you. I objectively feel sorry for you. You have my condolences. You are among us. If you don't have the intelligence to use the console on your own, I'm sorry, but you are among us. Anyone who says, "Oh, don't use the console," that's cheating. No, not really. Not really. You're just bad at understanding the computer. A skill issue. Back to what I was saying. Using the console basically makes it fun. After hours of being bored with the game, it gets really boring. And bothersome. When you are trying to enjoy the game and you just can't because you get one hit killed by something from behind, and now you realize there is a big ugly scorpion-like thing behind you as you die. That's annoying. That's not fun. When you find yourself blocked from a part of the game because there is this boring, annoying hacking section, and Bethesda has one of the worst hacking sections I have seen in history. They are really boring. They are extremely boring. They are not entertaining. They are mostly luck-based. They are boring. Simply put, they are boring. They are extremely boring. And that's the thing. Pretty much everything is boring under normal circumstances. But once you have the proper skill set, and with saves coming, you can enjoy it. When you do everything you are told not to do in a game to enjoy it, you actually enjoy Bethesda games. It means they suck. And yes, I know it's a controversial opinion, but they suck. And Todd Howard sucks. Well, now he's not even in charge. Now that Bethesda was bought by Microsoft. Ironically, it's not that many say, no, but that's a common problem with open world games. No, that's a problem with bad open world games. And yeah, it's a weakness most open world games have, but it's not mandatory that it ruins the whole experience. They always get tedious to some extent, but to the point that they make you want to quit the game, it's a Bethesda thing. Because, for example, and it is published by Bethesda, but the developers are Tango Gameworks, Ghostwire Tokyo. The open world section is bearable. The open world section isn't that awful. It's not great, I admit it's not great. But it isn't nearly as boring as the open world sections of real Bethesda games, not games published by Bethesda. Games developed by Bethesda. They are a lot more boring. a lot more boring. Games developed by Bethesda are not fun. They are made to be difficult or to be big without having fun, because the developers aren't really thinking of having fun. They are thinking of maximizing gameplay hours, but you can spend hours doing nothing, hours getting bored, hours getting annoyed, and that's it. That's the way they do it. That's how they do it, and they think it's fine. They think it works. They think it's cool. They think it's fun. For who? For who? If it is not fun for the player, it's not fun at all. I mean, if the player gets bored with your game, it's not good. It's not fun. It's boring and bad. If the player gets annoyed by the game, it's not a good game. If the game wants to quit, if the game makes you want to quit almost every 2 hours, it's a bad game. And yes, what I'm saying is Bethesda makes bad games. And it's controversial, but I think it's true. And I know people love Skyrim, probably because of the mods. And I know people love Fallout. But no, it's bad. It's bad. Bethesda makes bad games. Even if you don't like it, it's the reality. Bethesda makes bad games. And I think it's because of the development philosophy. As I said, Tango Gameworks, they make great games, they make really good games. So it's not that they can't be good, that open world games can't be good. It's that Bethesda can do it. It's that Bethesda has what they call a competency crisis. They are full of incompetent people, and since they are sycophants to Todd Howard, they stay in place. He doesn't fire them because, well, he won't fire his personal cocksuckers. Simply put, he won't fire the people who are constantly praising him and obeying him. And well, why would he? Why would he? It's exactly that. Why would you fire the people who are constantly validating you, that make you feel good, when you can fire the guy who annoys you and tells you are wrong? And yes, the guy who tells you are wrong is right. The guy who annoys you is right. But why keep him? Why keep him when you can get rid of him? Keep all the sycophants and still make money because people still buy your things. That's what I think. That's what I think it's happening with Bethesda. Todd Howard gets rid of the talented people, keeps the sycophants, and moves on. The talented people get fired, the sycophants move on, and every now and then you have this far-left lunatic who gets close enough to him to start playing Warzone with him, and basically telling him what to do and how to do it, to favor the idea of this person and not to benefit the gamers. And of course it's to the detriment of us. We end up losing because Todd Howard will listen to this malintentioned nobody instead of the customers, because this person managed to suck his dick hard enough. I don't like Todd Howard if it wasn't made evident, and I don't like Bethesda, especially after they basically dumped Tango Gameworks, treated them as garbage, and they were the ones actually making good games. Of course, the localization teams are awful, as usual. There was even a localization controversy with the Ghostwire Tokyo, which led to the rare occurrence of the localization team actually being forced to fix the problem. Because the characters were caught repeatedly saying things in one language that they didn't say in the source material. Repeatedly inserting or forcing things that were unrelated to the source material. And since they were caught so hard, they were forced to reverse the alterations, to fix the localization. But it's a localization problem, and localizers, you know how bad they are. You know they always act in bad faith. That's why they have that bad reputation. I know there are people who are trying to fix the reputation of localizers to make it clear that it's not a generalized problem, but currently the vast majority are extremely unprofessional, extremely malicious, and extremely antagonistic to the customers. Localization teams are basically the opposite of customer satisfaction. They do their best to harm the customer. The rare case where they are good is often because the localization team is the development team directly. And thus they can do bad because there is no way to do bad when you are the guy in charge and the creator at the same time. So they get a bad reputation because they deserve it. Localizers have a bad reputation because they earn it. It's the one thing they absolutely earn. There are many things they didn't earn, including merit, including their paychecks, but the bad reputation, totally earned. Totally earned. It's theirs and theirs only. Because they are bad, they do a bad job. They are incompetent, they are irresponsible, they are inconsiderate. That's how I can describe them. They are the bad guys in the industry. They are the worst of the worst in the industry. And incredibly enough, Japanese people haven't noticed. And that's something made evident by the current discourse about piracy and about unofficial translations and about unofficial ports and basically about all unofficial things. Japanese people haven't noticed how much we are fucked over by publishers and localizers. Publishers that are often the western branches of their companies. Maybe over there things are better. I do believe over there things are better. The developers are really focused on satisfying the customer. But over here, the same international branches of their companies tolerate or even endorse localizers which already have been criticized and do all these horrible things, and they don't understand. The people of Japan has a hard time understanding that we don't care about the effort, the labor, about the hard work, when the people doing it are acting against our interests, are acting against us, are constantly conspiring against the customer, don't care about our satisfaction as a customer, don't care about us wanting to give them money, don't care if the localization is bad, they don't care that it long-term cost them money, that it generated losses, they don't care. They would rather lose money than stop censoring. At least that's how we see it here. God damn it, I'm not gonna make it. And as I said, they don't notice that. They don't understand it. They can't imagine the idea that the very same company that does great things over there, that makes high quality products over there, could have a foreign branch acting against the best interest of everyone. They can't understand it, they can't imagine it, because That's not how it is over there. They're big companies. They are seen as a seal of quality over there. Over here, however, they are not even trusted most of the time now, because they don't deserve the trust. Because they didn't earn the trust. Because what they earned was animosity, was disdain, was disrespect, was this perception of them as greedy and inconsiderate to the customer. That's why we see things so differently. Because over here we are treated poorly by the same people who over there they are probably doing their best. I do want to believe that they are not as bad over there as they are over here. But that doesn't improve things much. If they are bad over here and they are good over there, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Because that means basically that no, let's go for the last save instead. There it is. As I was saying, the companies, they I did it worse instead of better. That's so frustrating. Let's try once more, and if it fails, we're going back to the last normal save instead of the last autosave. No, let's get out of here. Let's try it again later. I am frustrated. As I was saying, a large part of the problem is that they don't understand it, that they don't notice it, and that they have these people acting in bad faith, are hiding everything, making sure they don't notice, making sure they don't understand, making sure they don't see it. And they really act behind their backs. That's something I have noticed. I am 100% certain at this point that people like this woman, Katrina Lounodakis, they speak to the developers and tell them this is what the West wants. And when the developers ask them, are you sure? Because we saw someone complaining, those complaining are a minority, they don't matter. They are entitled idiots. I bet that's how they put it. That's how they sell it to the developers. And that's how they trick them into their own professional translations. Oh shit, I made a mistake. Anyway, I think that's how they manage to trick people. Alright, I'm going to take the risk here. Nope. Maybe it was there, but I'm not risking again. As I was saying, I think that's how it happens. I think that's how it goes. That they trick the developers and tell them, no, you do this, and the game will sell. And even if the developers aren't sure, even if the developers are already catching up and suspecting, they tell them, no, don't believe those people. They are entitled idiots. I was going to say bigots because that's a word they love to use. Entitled bigots, it's a term they love to use. But I don't think they tell that to Japanese developers. But because I think Japanese developers couldn't care less about the American Western culture war discourse. But they do care about the quality and intelligence of their audience. That's why I have this theory that they say, oh, no, it doesn't work. Alright. That they say, no, don't listen to those people. They are entitled idiots. They are not your audience. They are not buying. They are not paying. They are pirating. I bet they say that. I bet they say that because that's something that, as evidenced currently, bothers developers a lot. I bet they say no. Those people aren't buying. They are pirating. I bet they say that. I bet they say the most malicious falsehoods to convince Japanese developers of allowing the alterations in it. I bet they lie to convince the developers of making those alterations, and that they have infiltrated the companies even to the point of development now, and that they are there speaking to the ear of the developers and telling them no, you can't release that in the West, and you shouldn't release that in Japan because people don't like it, and the developers don't know better. I bet they don't know better. I bet if they knew better, they wouldn't do it just because they like the money. I am not saying their dignity, their pride as creators. No, just because they like the money. I bet if the developers had localizers and production committees with people who are focused on the money and only the money, without ideology, without having an ethics committee like Square Enix has, without having a compliance department or any other bureaucratic leftist stuff. I bet if they didn't have all those people basically telling them to censor themselves, you will have games like this one, or even with bigger fan service, you will have full frontal lolly nudity, like Deep Space Waifu, flat justice at its best point. You will have that in mainstream. You will have that coming from mainstream game developers like Square Enix. If you have people who only care about the money, who don't care about ethics, about well, of course, their legal department matters. They will have a legal department who will make sure they don't release anything that puts them in legal trouble. But if they had a team entirely comprised of people who only care about maximizing profits, not about ideology, not about politics, only profits, only money, you will have plenty of more things that currently are seen as impossible, that currently are seen as too controversial, too forbidden, too inappropriate. And you will have them in mainstream. You will have them in front of everyone. As I said, you will have something like Deep Space Waifu Flat Justice in the mainstream, and with people loving it. People will love it. If you didn't have leftists, I am sure of it. People don't. If leftist ideologies stopped existing, people will love those games. The whole world would be full with the lolicon games. Why? Because you see it, when there is no censorship, there are two things that become predominant: lolly and right-wing content. When there is no censorship, the two things that become predominant are lolly and right-wing content. Violence doesn't become predominant. Real life pornography doesn't become predominant. It's lolly and right-wing content which become predominant, and you can see it. You can see it almost everywhere. Of course, mainstream media never allows that. That's the problem. That's the problem. But well, some would say if it became mainstream, it would be boring. If what you like, without changes, because the problem with mainstream is that they start demanding changes. If what you like, without any changes, became mainstream, you would absolutely love it. That's how I put it. You would absolutely love it. Without changes. It wouldn't have changes, it wouldn't be censored. It wouldn't lose anything of the parts that you love of it. And it became mainstream, you will be mainstream. The problem is that the mainstream is full of censorious imbeciles, full of leftists, full of bureaucrats who make it impossible for the things you enjoy to reach you. If you get rid of that people, if you get rid of the cultural networks, the mainstream will be something you love. Hold a second. Hold a second. Here, Darko. Come here. Come here. Come here. You want to? Unlike Hassan, if I get interrupted by my cat, I get interrupted by my cat. I have no choice but to get interrupted. But I'm not giving you food, you are already fat. No, stop asking for food, I am not giving you food, you are already fat. As I was saying, and he's being well fed, that's why he's fat. That's why he's fat. But I am regulating his meals a little bit more because he was extremely overweight. So now he eats on a schedule. And right now it's not time to eat. Right now it's time to be patient and wait for a few hours. He just ate. So he better wait. Because I really need to make sure he doesn't get sick for being overweight. He already got sick for another thing, so I am trying to prevent him from getting sick again. So no, we can't overfeed the cat now. Back to what I was saying. The problem is that you have these leftists, these activists, these bureaucrats, and they keep ruining your hobbies, they keep ruining your fun. No, wait. They keep taking away from you. They keep removing what you care for. But if you didn't have them... Oh shit, I fucked up. Anyway. If you didn't have them, if you didn't have these activists, you would love the mainstream if the mainstream became what you love. Because it would be unchanged. You will have these fanservice heavy games, these openly explicit eroge. Wait a few hours, you're already fat. You will have all this stuff you like in the mainstream. Of course, it couldn't be like entirely unregulated. Of course you would need at least rating boards and responsible parents. Because I'm tired of irresponsible parents making me responsible for their children. I don't have children. I shouldn't be responsible for the children of other people. I hate other people and by extension their children. I don't like you. I don't want to be responsible for your spawn. I have said it over and over again. The thing is, if you didn't have all those bureaucrats and all these irresponsible imbeciles, all those games I am describing, all these perfect ideal games I am describing, will just have a sign that says, not for minors, explicit content, parental advisory, and that's it. That's it. Only that sign. No more, no less. And everyone will be happy. Because you will have censorship. You will have access to anything within your target demographic and the target demographic away from you. That is below you. For example, let's say in this ideal scenario, yeah, you will have full access to these explicit games, and for obvious reasons, because they are not age restricted. You will have access to all these other games that are normal that don't have erotic content, that don't have adult content, and since parents will be responsible, the children will be safe, and probably those games, well, they wouldn't be, they wouldn't have that many online functions, because they wouldn't be profitable. That's an important part. The online functions wouldn't be profitable, and since they wouldn't be profitable, they wouldn't be present. One of the problems with, for example, Roblox, which people don't want to talk about, is that it's profitable. With all the bad things it has, it's still profitable. It still makes money. Why? Because parents are irresponsible. Because parents don't say, look, I'm not going to let you play that game because it's full of rumors. Well, bad people, no? You are not going to tell your child single digit age about grooming. But for example, let's say your child is not a single digit age. It's already capable of handling these words. This reminds me of a joke I saw a few years ago, which is funny, but I can't say it. No, not here. Well, maybe later, but it's a joke, and I need to make it clear that it's a joke. The thing is, they can handle it, but for example, let's say you have a 12-year-old child and you say, no, you're not playing Roblox because it's full of rumors. And proof that it's full of rumors is that your neighbor got groomed in Roblox. And they will understand. If they are not retards, they will understand that you are actually taking care of the problem, that you are not trying to mess with them, that legitimately there is a problem. And that it's a big problem, and it is. I'm not saying it's not. That's the thing. I'm not saying there is no problem with Roblox. Absolutely there is. Everyone with 2 brain cells understands that there is a problem with Roblox. Not why should I be responsible for it? Why should I be the one protecting your children when you don't protect them yourself? When you couldn't care less about watching them for them? They are not my children. They are yours. They are not my problem. They are yours. And if you don't want to take care of your problem, I don't want to either. I don't like them. I don't care about them. I don't want to have anything to do with them. I don't want to be involved. No, that's the thing. In a society where parents were responsible, you don't have that. You wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have children going into Roblox and getting groomed. You wouldn't have children getting into Genshin Impact and being manipulated by a player into committing suicide, which happened. And they are trying to blame the game instead of the society, the culture, the people, the parents. An underage player. I don't remember the age. I don't know the full details. I got convinced by someone else of committing suicide. And of course, the newspapers, the journalists are trying to pin the blame on the game. They are trying to say, oh, that's because Genshin Impact makes people suicidal. No, that's not how it works. You fucking imbecile. What happened? What is the problem? No, it's not here. It's not here. How do I get there? What is the problem is that the parents weren't a good support network for the child. The child was left alone with the game. And when you leave someone alone in an online game with online interactions, you're fucked. Because they aren't well prepared. They aren't well guided. Because they aren't being raised properly. Bad parenting makes it dangerous for them to be online. And as I said, in an ideal world, such functionalities would be unprofitable for games intended for children. For games with a more wider age range, well, that would still be present for competitive games where you need to coordinate with players. Yeah, there will be communication between players, but it wouldn't be the way it is. It wouldn't be that easy to find the private information of the player. It wouldn't be that easy to approach a child without any sort of protection. Basically, everything would be safe for the child if it was a society where parents are responsible. If it was society where dangerous content wasn't profitable for children. Yes. Right. You shouldn't trust your friends when they tell you to jump. What was I saying? Don't tell me it's time. Oh wait. I mean, I knew this game had inspiration from Toho, but this is the most Toho part I have experienced so far. What was I saying? Yeah. In a functional, healthy society, you will have that kind of situation where a child can get thrown in a chain, and children wouldn't be allowed to enter adult spaces by their own parents. Basically, if your child got caught watching hentai, it's not my problem. It's his problem. He's getting a beating. That's what responsible parents will do, or at least how to tell them to not do that. But I don't know, something. Well, it should be the child's problem to be that irresponsible and not mine, or the parents if they aren't responsible. And I do think irresponsible parenting should lead to sentences, at least to community service, to make them develop a sense of responsibility. To make them think, dude, what the hell am I doing with my life? Because seriously, an irresponsible parent is not just irresponsible in that regard. There's probably other things they are responsible with, like money, like habits. Most of the most irresponsible parents are usually substance abusers and child abusers. And abusers in general. Irresponsible parenting goes hand in hand with horrible behavior. That's my point. And if society wasn't so polluted by leftists and bureaucrats in general, because there are right-wing bureaucrats too. Right. Oh, fucking heck. Oh no, you are not raping the Banui. Not today. Well, no. As I was saying, um, there are right-wing bureaucrats exist too, and actually they are becoming a problem right now. Currently, we have this problem with the whole age verification thing, which is pushed by both right-wing and left-wing bureaucrats. And you know when something is bipartisan, there is something wrong with it. Because they don't agree on anything but to fuck people over. That's the only thing politicians agree on. To screw with you. But that's the thing. If we didn't have that problem, if we didn't have bureaucrats, we'll have a much better society, and gaming will be much better, remarkably better. You won't have that much censorship. There will be, of course, some limitations, and I think some rules are necessary. For example, I think it should be illegal to use any sort of real pornography in a game. Basically, any sort of nude actresses, it should be illegal. Just to screw with porn, and just to prevent any legal problems. And it should be, of course, obviously illegal to use illicit material and criminal evidence, if you know what I'm talking about, in a game. And that includes, for example, videos of executions, photos of murders, which are, for some reason, very popular in some circles in Reddit and with Mutahar. It would be illegal to have that in a game. You couldn't have photos of real tragedies in a game. Footage of real tragedies in a game. It should be illegal. That's one of the few things that I would say would be legal, and that's because of the creation, not to censor, but because of the creation process. Because as I said in previous instances, if something requires a coercion, manipulation, or aggression to make it possible, it should be legal. Oh no. Yeah, you should have asked her for help. Anything that requires, as I said, coercion, manipulation, or aggression in its creation should be illegal. And therefore, using that content in a game should be illegal. That's my point. It's not about censorship. It's about preventing abusive content, effectively, from being used in a game. And basically, preventing evil people and imbeciles, and sometimes they are hard to tell apart from each other, from adding such content to a game. And I say imbeciles because I'm convinced that some of the most horrible examples of illicit footage being used in a game don't come from criminals, don't come from the people who create criminal content, but from imbeciles who are trying to play edgy, who are pretending to be cool by doing something controversial and they go overboard. Who think, oh, imagine it would be awesome if this game was full of urban legends because it has child pornography in it. Fucking idiots. And I think they are fucking idiots, and I think there are fucking idiots who do that. Who think that, who say, oh, it would be cool. It would be cool if you could put footage of a real murder in this game and put a recording of a guy getting beheaded because it's cool, because it's controversial, and they want attention, and they are stupid. And when they are done, everything goes to shit. No, don't touch me. Stay away and don't touch me. And those people, I think, they are the vast majority of the people who have made such content. Nope. Nope, not yet. And for example, another case, for example, the case of Sad Satan. This allegedly deep web video game with child pornography in it, and with recordings or footage of murders in it, and basically everything I say should be illegal. I think, based on interacting with people online, that the people who made that game, they weren't trying to do something harmful because they wanted it to be made that way. They weren't trying to make child pornography and the footage of murders widely available to the audience, but instead what they intended was to get attention. They wanted attention. They wanted edgy content. They wanted, in quotations, thought-provoking content. They wanted to basically mess with you, fuck with you, make people unhappy. That was their goal, to make people uncomfortable and unhappy through that stuff. That was their intention, that was their idea. And they fucked up. They fucked up big. They actually caused harm with that. They caused harm with that, and now it's a fucking disaster because of it. And they wanted to be edgy and get attention, and they got what they wanted, but at the price of making a whole fucking mess of everything else. And they were like, oh look at this game, it is very controversial, it is full of bad things that are bad for you, that are bad for everyone. Look, it has child porn and murder. And it wasn't because they are pedophiles or because they are serial killers. No, it's because it's edgy. And that's it. They want to be edgy, they want the attention, they want the controversy. And they are willing to do the most abhorrent things to get it. And that has happened before. That's actually the foundation of what we call nowadays yellow journalism. It's that kind of mindset. It's that kind of a stupid mindset of wanting to get attention at all costs, even at the expenses of innocent people. Those imbeciles exist and have existed for centuries. And they are a fucking disease in society. They are a fucking infestation. But they exist. Unfortunately, they exist. And they are always trying to be edgy. That's the most important part. It's not about creativity. It's not about truth, because they use those excuses. Oh, but I want to show the world the ugly truth. I want to express myself. No, they just want to be edgy. I am convinced that's how it happens most of the time. Of course, there is a possibility. There is always a possibility that you are dealing with an actual criminal, an actual psychopath, an actual sex offender who doesn't care about getting attention or anything, and they are doing it because they enjoy it, really. But those, I think, are the rare instances, and I think they are more evidenced by other traits of the person. For example, when they basically, and that's an important part, when they basically don't want to get caught. They are doing it, but without trying to get caught. That's why, for example, as I use the example of Sad Satan, I think that one was for the sake of being edgy, because the idiot didn't expect it to blow up that way, in the sense that the idiot didn't expect the negatives of it, but they expected attention. That's the thing. It was done for attention. not for, as I said, not for pedophilic purposes, not for distributing child pornography. It was for attention. The person wanted attention. The person wanted to be seen, to be heard, to be talked about, and to profit from, of course, because the attention was profitable. That was the final goal of having that much attention. It was money. It was relevance. I don't think it was because the guy was a pedophile. I don't think it was because the guy was a serial killer, because he was violent, or all other things that have become kind of talked about. I don't think it was about that. I think it was about getting attention, about being seen, and being offensive while being seen, about getting treated as geniuses in the field. About, oh, look at me, I am this very special, very unique, very eccentric individual willing to go this far for the sake of the artistry. That's what I see. That's what I think it was. I don't think it was, oh look, I am going to put child pornography here and everyone will see it and everyone will like it. No, I think it was for the sake of being edgy. And in part, I think it because it has happened in my country. It has happened on Facebook groups, actually. There were Facebook groups where people posted child pornography to be edgy. That's fucked up. That's disturbing, but it happened. It happened multiple times, not just once. Multiple times it happened. That some imbecile decided to prove how edgy he can be by putting child pornography. And that led to criminal cases. That led to criminal investigations. Because these fucking idiots, and I will say it that way, because these fucking idiots think they are subversive, cool, controversial, interesting. They are idiots. They are idiots. They are objectively stupid people. Stupid, malicious people whose intelligence is not just very reduced. They don't have any sense of dignity or morals. They are bad people. They are objectively bad people. And they don't care about the harm their stupidity causes, because they are both bad and stupid. But, as I said, I don't think they are pedophiles. I don't think they are. I think they are objectively stupid people, but not pedophilic. I think their stupidity makes them be indistinguishable. That's an important part. Their stupidity makes them indistinguishable from actual criminals. Because they are too stupid to understand what they are doing is wrong, or to care if they understand it. They are retards. They are inferior to you and I. They are objectively lesser than you and I. They are objectively less healthy than you and I. And they don't care. They don't care because they don't have intelligence to care. I'm deeply convinced that most of the controversial creators who have done criminal things, they do it for attention, not for the crime. And B, it's because they are stupid. An example of that would be Johnny Somali. That guy is fucking retarded. That guy is fucking retarded. And here is the thing. He's what my sister calls lo ingeniero no quita lo pendejo. Or the being an engineer doesn't... No, yes, being an engineer doesn't make you less of an idiot. Less of a retard. It came from her education. She's a mechatronics engineer. During her career, she met many idiots. And one of her classmates once said that phrase, lo ingeniero no quita lo pendejo. In regards to another classmate who was a fucking idiot. And had my sister already fed up with stupidity. And that's where it came from. In the context of her anecdote. The thing is, she's right. Having a college education doesn't guarantee you are not a fucking retard at this point. And that's the thing with Johnny Somali. I said it because that's the thing. The guy does have a college education. That's something that many have pointed at. He had a college education. He had studies. He went to college. No joke. He went to college. And the guy is still a fucking imbecile. The guy is absolutely and completely retarded. And he went to college. He went to college and the guy is a brainless imbecile. And now he's in jail. He went to college and to jail. That's the punchline, by the way. And that's the thing. He's an idiot. He's objectively less intelligent than you and I. Because he gets in situations that only an idiot could get into. Because he thinks he can get away with it. And that's the thing. He studied college. He had a career. He had a job. And now he's in jail for doing stupid things. Which is something only an idiot could do. I'm not saying I'm good at this game, in case you're wondering. I just enjoy it. That's the difference. And the thing is, he's in prison for being an idiot. And I think that's how many of these criminal content creators, and they are talked about in some places, that's how I think they form. They are not dangerous criminal masterminds. They are complete retards who get in trouble for doing things that only a complete retard would think are a good idea. For doing exactly the kind of things you should never, under any circumstances, do. And I know for certain that these people are inferior to me and to you. It's important to point at it because maybe you might be thinking, oh, you're saying you're above me. Yes and no. I'm saying these people are below you. I'm saying these people are repulsive retards with bad intentions who do bad things all the time and they don't even notice. How do I click that one? It's not with the blue one, it's not the yellow one. Let's try with the green one. The red one. This one over here. I don't get it. No. I will figure it, and I will break some. As I was saying, these people are complete imbeciles. But I don't think they are criminal masterminds with a plan. I think actually that's a problem. They don't have any idea of what they are doing. They are not thinking of the consequences of what they are doing. They are not thinking of, if I do this, I'm going to jail. No, they are thinking, if I do this, I am going to be relevant. And let's not forget that being media relevant is really important to some people. That the idea of falling out of relevance is unacceptable to some people. That the idea of being ignored is unacceptable to them. Because they are imbeciles. They are inferior, they don't understand logic. And that's why now Johnny Somal is in jail. And I'm glad he's in jail, to be honest. I'm glad he's going to jail. I'm glad he's going to suffer in jail. I'm glad he was begging for help from his mommy. I'm glad he's going to pay for all the shit he did in so many places. Because it wasn't just Japan. It wasn't just Japan. It was South Korea, it was Israel, it was, I think, Singapore. He was basically doing nuisance tourism. Crime tourism, I would even say. I think the only thing he didn't do, or at least we can't confirm, is raping an underage. I think that's the only thing he didn't do. Or at least we can't confirm he did. Some say he did. Most add, some say he did. Some say he did because of the statements he made about how he was going to engage in compensated dating. Some say he did molest a minor. I am not certain. I think he was just being edgy. But being edgy with that is still wrong. In the sense that you are basically bragging about intending to or committing a crime. Being edgy with that is retarded. Well, he is retarded himself. How does it work? How do those ones work? Alright, I will try to figure it out and move on. Alright, I think I know what it is. That guy, for the sake of being edgy, he ruined his own life. He ruined his own life to be edgy. And now he's paying the consequences of being edgy. And if my theory is correct, I don't even have to use that. Yeah, my theory is correct. Alright, let's keep going. Let's keep going. As I was saying, being edgy is stupid. Being way too edgy is even more stupid. I think, in fact, that one of the biggest problems in modern society is how obsessed people are with attention and with being edgy. I think if we had less edgy people in the world will be better. I think if we had less edgy people, we'll have less crime, because we won't have people who commit crimes for attention or for fun. Another example of that is this guy, Peluchin Entertainment. Well, I do think he's both evil and stupid. But the guy got himself exposed for being stupid, not for being evil, because you have many cases in which animal abusers get away with it, because they are smart enough to not get caught. But that guy, he broadcasted his crimes. He's a retard. He broadcasted his crimes. I'm glad he's a retard, because that means he gets caught. The smart ones don't get caught. And that's something I warn people about on all criminals. Because there is this widespread notion coming from a study that was made in prisons, because of course you can only make it in prisons, about the intelligence of pedophiles, which determine they are below average. But I think that study was bad and dangerous. because it creates a sense of complacency. Because it makes you think they are stupid and will get caught, and you will stop them easily. But that's not always the case. The ones who get caught are the stupid ones. The ones who are intelligent are in government. I will put it that way. The ones who get caught are the stupid ones. The ones who are intelligent get in a position of power and become impossible to punish. The ones who are intelligent work for the UN. The ones who are intelligent work for the CIA. And in fact, they aim for those positions exactly because of that. Because they go to the places where getting caught gets harder. That's how they go. They go to the places where getting caught is harder. What's going on here? It's an orgy! It's a lesbian orgy! Well, threesome, but it's still orgy. It's an orgy. Ah, it's not an orgy? I am disappointed. She's a terrible influence. They're a terrible influence. They are corrupting the youth. Well, she's not that young. She's a rabbit. She doesn't count. They are corrupting the bunnies. It's like with Socrates. That guy was corrupting the youth. They must drink hemlock immediately. Back to what I was saying, and setting aside my horrible and borderline offensive sense of humor. Oh God, what have I done? Oh God, what have I done? I fucked up. I already figured it anyway. Back to what I was saying. What was I saying? I forgot what I was up to. Sorry, I forgot. Back to what I was saying. The sex offenders who get caught are the least intelligent, the least capable. Are not the dangerous ones. At least the ones who get caught, like you know, like show or under normal circumstances, in quotations, in big quotations, they are not the intelligent ones. They are the stupid ones. They are the small fry. The big guys, they don't get caught. And if they get caught, it's because of someone less intelligent than themselves, someone less capable than themselves, or someone more intelligent than themselves being involved. Like, you know, these big sting operations against cartels, against rings. That's how they get caught. They don't get caught like you know, Chris Hansen or things like that. That's for the stupid ones. You catch the stupid ones that way. For example, this guy who is almost a symbol of the topic nowadays, Ribi, he's a retard. You see him talk, he's unintelligent. He has He has a tiny brain, if any at all. He's an imbecile. And that's why he gets caught. The whole catfishing thing, the whole hunter thing, it's for the idiots. The intelligent ones. Those are more dangerous. Those sometimes go as far as to fake being part of one of those hunting groups. They are doing the hunting. They are the heroes in quotations. They are the good guys. And you don't catch them. You don't find them. By the time you figure that out, it's too late and they already got away. The intelligent ones, they don't get caught at all. They don't get caught in sting operations. They don't get caught through catfishing. They don't get caught through, well, in civilian sting operations, because they do get caught at the rings. They do get caught in police sting operations, where they are doing professional work, where they infiltrate in the organization, where they do all these big things. They don't get caught by Chuckle Fox 7 and his buddies. They get caught by real federal agents, and that's when they are not the traitors themselves. That's when they are not allied with the criminals. They don't get caught by Chris Hansen. They get caught by I don't know. I don't have a name because it's not that easy to come up with a name of something that is not seen. That's the thing. They get caught by secret agents who are not named, who are not seen, who are not showing up in public, who are not talking in public about the issue, who are doing everything undercover. Those are the ones who catch the smart ones. And as I said, when they are not involved with them, because these people they get involved, they infiltrate the law enforcement to make sure they can get away with it. Suddenly, the crook cop is no longer just a crook cop; is part of a child pornography ring. Because they get involved, because they get in their hands in the corrupt ones in the force, or they get in government. Jeffrey Epstein got caught because he made enemies who are smarter and more powerful than him, and particularly Donald Trump. Otherwise, he would have gotten away with it. And many say he did. Many say with legitimate evidence that he's still alive out there. That he's hiding, and that the guy who got killed was his double. And that's what happens with the smart ones. The smart ones aren't that easy to catch. The smart ones go unpunished even when they get caught. They manage to find a way to avoid getting punished. For example, pretty much everyone on that list. Pretty much everyone on that list is going to get unpunished. We haven't seen the arrests yet. We are not seeing arrests. I think we are not seeing any. Some say maybe in the future, maybe eventually, maybe when someone in power who cares does it. I think that's not going to happen. I think we're going to find his clients. We're going to find who his clients were. When all these people die, they are well buried, and the government in what I call a display of arrogance and indolence, releases the files to the public to let you, in quotations, see the truth, and the, again quotations, truth is not to your favor. Because everyone you imagined was on the list, and they all got away with it. And you, on the other hand, you will be dissatisfied. Or dead. Probably dead. Because you wouldn't outlive these people for that long if you are an adult already. It will be your grandchildren or great-grandchildren who will see who was on the list And they will just say, oh, so magnanimous and kind that the government is for releasing the files. No, they are not. They release them because they know everyone involved is no longer going to face consequences and they won't get in trouble for exposing these people. And while I am one of the many who doesn't think Elon Musk or Donald Trump are involved, if it turned out to be the case, first of all, we are not going to know. And second, I will be surprised. I don't think it's the case, and I would be deeply disappointed if that was the case, because based on what they say and what they do, I have somewhat better expectations of them. But if I was wrong, I wouldn't be emotionally affected. That's the thing, I wouldn't be emotionally affected. I wouldn't be sad, I wouldn't feel betrayed, I wouldn't feel hurt. Because I'm open to the possibility. Because when you are as old as I am, you get used not only to disappointment and betrayal, but to people being fucking hypocrites and doing everything they told you is wrong in front of you without feeling any shame and getting away with it. And that's the thing. I'm open to the possibility, not because I think it's fine or because I think it's true, not because I think it's in their character as many claim. No, I'm open to the possibility because I think people lie. People lie to you quite often. People have lied to me quite often. And I'm ready for the idea of being disappointed. I'm prepared for being disappointed. Repeatedly, through my entire life. Everyone I know has at least once brought me disappointment and sadness. Everyone. And the vast majority of people I know of have betrayed me at least once. Usually it stays in once. Because I do try to make sure it doesn't happen again. But I'm not perfect. The only perfect entity I know of is Orochronic, and I am not her. And I will never be, because I'm alive. So, since I'm not perfect, I'm mentally prepared for being disappointed. I'm not going for difficulty. Those two again. Too late. Oh god damn it. Oh god fucking damn it. I'm not dodging them all. Oh god fucking damn it. Now that is bullet hell indeed. I was not ready. It caught me off guard. But I'm having my revenge. I am starting with you because you're closer. I'm getting rid of you before you become a real problem. As I was saying, I'm used to being disappointed because people have disappointed many times over my life. There is no exceptions. It's something you get used to. You get used to being disappointed. get used to being betrayed. You get used to being hurt. You get used to finding out the people you expected to be in charge of everything being the problem. And especially with politicians and public figures. I don't believe in the kindness and honesty of politicians, of institutions. The government is my enemy. That's something I am certain of. The government, regardless of country, is my enemy. And it's not, my enemy is the government of this country, my enemy is this country. No. The existence of the government is my enemy. Because they have proven time and time again to be against me. They have proven their malignancy. Time and time again, they have proven their malignancy. Damn it. In fact, I would say governments are worse than individuals in all senses. They have all the negative traits of an individual with none of the positives, and individuals have positive traits. Individuals always are capable of being better, always be capable of being good. Governments, on the other hand, are always capable of being evil, of being the worst of the worst of the worst you can imagine. When they are not causing harm, they are trying to make money out of it. There is not a single instance in which a government isn't trying to harm you. That is not because they expect you to vote for them or pay them for something, or in any other way support them. There is not a single case in which that's how things are. Governments are dishonest, governments are malignant, governments are corrupt, and you need to get used to it because it's the norm. It's not exception, it's the norm. And when you trust the government, you are going to have a bad time. And there are people who are too trusting of authority, people who are too trusting of the government, people who say trust the plan, trust the system, trust the authority, and they end up paying for it. They end up suffering for it. Because the government doesn't care about them. They put all their expectations, all their hopes in the state, but the state won't help them. The state will do all they can to harm these people. These useful idiots, they are always the first to die. Through history it has been. That's how it is. Through history it has always been that the useful idiots are the first to die. And also the ones who defended the government the most. And you are seeing it right now with the whole with the whole age verification thing, that you have people who are complete useful idiots, and they are the ones who are getting hurt the most at first, because they are the ones who will comply faster. They are the ones who will obey first. And if the plan fails, if the rest of the world doesn't comply for long enough, and we manage to defeat the government in this plan, those useful idiots, they are not going to get away with it. When everyone else already managed to overcome the challenge, they will be screwed, because now the problem is only theirs. Now the problem is only theirs because everyone else didn't register, everyone else didn't comply, everyone else avoided the problem, but they are stuck with it. And it's permanent. It's permanent. They are stuck with the problem for the rest of their lives. Because everyone else, now that they didn't comply, they can avoid it. Or even better, they don't just avoid it. They were never part of it, and the ones who complied, they are the ones who end up losing. For example, this European Union age registration database, which got hacked immediately the very same day that came out. The ones who complied, their data now is hacked. The ones who didn't comply, their data is safe. The useful idiots pay first, pay faster, pay harder. And sometimes they are the only ones paying. The government doesn't pay. The government doesn't suffer the consequences of their own abuses. And you and I, we are avoiding it. We refuse to comply. For the compliant ones, the obedient ones, they are idiots. They are dead. They are ruined. Why aren't you out of the game? If you don't obey, if you don't follow the rules, ironically, you live up better than the obedient ones in regards to things like age verification. The ones who figure out how to dodge it, they win. They win because their data is safe, while everyone else is basically exposed. It's horrible. It's horrible. Again, stupid people cause harm to everyone. I hate the stupid people. I say it over and over again. I hate the stupid people because they really just cause harm. And I think that's their evolutionary function to some extent. A civilization is supposed to either dispose of them or go down. They are supposed to survive. They are supposed to die. And if they aren't removed from the team group, that population is considered no longer viable and goes extinct. Any population that tolerates stupid to the level and intensity that we are tolerating them now is doomed to fail. Is doomed to go extinct. Is doomed to fall. And if you tolerate them, if you allow them to become the majority, if you allow them to be in charge of everything, you will go down with them. If you don't make the stupid go extinct, you are going extinct with them. You are going extinct too. They are going to bring your end if you don't get rid of them. And that's the problem. That's the problem, that we have created a society in which the stupidity is rewarded, tolerated, and encouraged. In which the stupid reproduce faster than intelligent. And in which sometimes they are the only ones reproducing. And an example of that is Latin America. Here we have many intelligent people who never have children, because they are trying to avoid giving them a life of poverty if they live through it, because they struggle to find relationships, because stupid people being the majority make it hard to form bonds. You can form bonds that way with something that you see as closer to a monkey. And that's the thing. We struggle finding a relationship, we struggle making friends, we struggle making a family. And meanwhile, the most idiotic losers, they can't even find a place for their children because there are too many. Nowadays they are starting to call it the Shrek people. And it's a meme now even in America of these idiots portrayed as Shrek and his family. The Shrek people is real. Here we call them buchones. They're extremely stupid people. people. Stupid and harmful. They make bad decisions with their life, with their money, with their children, with everything. They always do the worst they can. They are experts at being the worst of society. And they are extremely, extremely obnoxious. And they often try to involve themselves with criminal organizations. They are the worst. They are absolutely horrible. They are annoying, they are obnoxious. We have to live with them. Imagine how it feels for someone even remotely decent to have to put up with this unintelligent, dangerous, hostile specimens. They are a problem. They are the problem. They are our problem. And now they are yours too. Because they are spreading through all the world. Because it's not race. It's genetics, but it's not race. It's not phenotype. It's genotype. Oh no, it's her again. Keep that woman away from people! Alright. Given the hour, that's it for today. Have a good one.